Hello everybody, today I want to talk about the video of PlayStation 5 Pro technical seminar. And the way that I'm going to do this video is kind of summarize what he actually said instead of like the very technical stuff that most people don't even understand. I love them. I wrote a whole essay about those things that I won't even use. I kind of want to make a TLDR version here because a lot of things can be said. They're very like intriguing of how he's talking about these things. But anyway, without further ado, what the man actually said. So he explained here overall their philosophy around rasterizing rendering, ray tracing, and machine learning, that those gonna be the three pillars that they're gonna follow, and those were the three pillars that they used back in 2020 in order to think about the PS5 Pro. And this video wholly is mostly targeted at very highly enthusiast and game developers, explaining why they even made this and what they can get out of this, and also a little bit of a glimpse of the future in the end. Overall, with these three pillars, what they also wanted to show here is that why they didn't make some changes, right? A lot of people are saying, oh, why didn't they upgrade the CPU? Why didn't they move to RDNA 3? Haha, it's still RDNA 2. But the reality of the situation, outside of internet trolls, is that the reason that they didn't do this, they said it also there, that they didn't want to break compatibility. And they didn't want to have this similar situation, what is currently happening with Xbox. They didn't want to have the developers have to do two different installments. One installment for this hardware that is a little bit lower, and one installment for this hardware that is higher. So they will be able to use the same version of the thing, but just some additional things overall on the PS5 Pro code. And that is going to be the difference, because having to maintain two versions of the game is like having another console, because each thing gonna start getting unique problems. So for them, part of the philosophy, it is very clear that they want to have the game developers happy, because keeping the developers happy will make them, and that's why also they have kind of relaxed and like prerequisites for them to title something PS5 enhanced. Even the use of PSSR, as far as I know, gets you PS5 Pro enhanced, and the reason for that is because they want, in order to sell this hardware, they have to have supported titles, and in order to have supported titles, they have to make people give them an easy time to do so, and then after that, then people gonna buy the console because it has these games, or they're gonna, outside of the people that are gonna buy it anyway because they want the latest thing, right? I'm talking about people are buying it when they see support for this. So yeah, this is really an ecosystem that they have at PlayStation. It's not the same as Nvidia or AMD, that they sell you a GPU or a CPU and they say use it or not, I don't care. Here with PlayStation is a whole ecosystem around developers and all of those things. In a way, it is for GPUs too, but it's not even close as vital as it is on PlayStation, that need to have game developers working on their hardware. So, with that being said, they also explained specifically here how they made this custom RDNA 2 mix of things, because it has better ray tracing than what the older RDNA 2 chips had. They patched in something to have obviously better ray tracing capabilities, and then they added the machine learning module as well, which was something that they developed themselves, and they seem very proud of it, because as most people see now, DLSS and those kind of upscalers, frame generation, all of those things will be the future, especially for consoles where they have to aim for a lower entry price. That is really where we're going. That's why it's so much harder. That's why the PS5 Pro is more expensive, because all things combined with the prices of the silicon not dropping, and also that's why we didn't see official PS5 price drops outside of those Christmas things. But yeah, with that being said, really here what we have is specifically they were targeting to make those changes on those three pillars. That's why they added them, to have faster rendering. They talk about how they can achieve this, the faster rendering, with how they change the hardware for the GPUs. And they already said, it was pretty much as they said also in the interview, that a lot of games were also already performing at 60 FPS, but what people wanted was better image. And that's why they focused on these two key things: machine learning in order to make the picture look even better, and for a better kind of GPU, but not insanely amount to not bottleneck with the CPU. And that is really what we see. That's why you see also companies having motivation to have their games PS5 Pro enhanced, because for example, you take something like the Dragon's Dogma 2, which was from Capcom, right? And it didn't really perform well at all on the base PS5. So when they kind of gave them more freedom on hardware, on how to work with their game, and now that it's PS5 Pro enhanced, it plays way better. The same thing can be said with Final Fantasy VII, which was one of the titles that everywhere they saw that is PS5 Pro patched since day one. And it makes sense because that game on performance mode, it was not good, it was fine, not good, not great, just fine. It was serviceable, but it didn't really do too much work. And that's also another reason why you see Final Fantasy XVI not getting still a PS5 Pro patch, because they don't have the motivation for more sales. Rebirth right now is a newer thing, a more exciting thing for people to go and buy. That's why Final Fantasy XVI still doesn't have a patch, and this one has, because it's on the priority of sales list. That's just how it works for the game developers. That's why the ecosystem has to work for them to get, as I said earlier, how it works. Outside of that, he spoke specifically very much about performance and how they were able to get better performance on race and ray tracing. But the most interesting thing for me of all of those things was that they spoke also about the future of PlayStation, and they spoke about what they envision the future would be like, which will be them having the even better GPU, but not by too much, and they're hoping, they're banking mostly on machine learning, improving, and that's why they announced the partnership with AMD at the end, making Amethyst the neural network that will be able to have way more data, train the AI to give you better and better results. Because as I said on the previous video, what we have right now is the worst PSSR that we ever gonna have. Gonna have better versions. Now when? We don't really know, but it's gonna have. It's the same thing as what Nvidia is doing. They have their machine learning thing, eventually it gets newer version, performance and everything, enhancements, and the same thing gonna happen here as well with PSSR. That is really the thing here that you need to focus on, because developing for console is very different than developing for PC. I'm not sure if I said this on this video because I have made this video like 3 times. I have developed for PS5 Dev Kit, and it was very different experience than developing on PC. PC is very straightforward, everything is in the engine, especially if you're using Unreal Engine. When you're trying to do PS5 stuff, not so much. You have to do a lot of custom work in order for things to work. And you get a lot of unique issues, especially with shader stuff. So yeah, that is really the thing here. That is what I wanted to make a video about. Credentials, I don't think anyone needs, but I have worked on PS5 Dev Kit when I was in university, and right now I'm game developer, software engineer. That's pretty much it. He explained very well all those stuff, and I think this was mostly targeted for people that want to understand these things. If you wanted to watch this, obviously you are free to watch it. It's fantastic. It's very good. And even a lot of things I didn't know, he introduced very good things to talk about, especially talking about teaching the teraflops and talking about what really matters here. And something that I really sympathize with, I didn't say, is that we should stop looking at internal resolution. We should focus at looking at the end product. If the end product is beautiful, why do you care if it came from 1080p or 800p or anything like that? What really matters is the end result. And that's why sometimes when they do analysis from Digital Foundry, people misunderstand them and they think that somehow this is bad. And in my opinion, this shouldn't be the case, because when they're developing for consoles, they're developing for someone having a 4K TV. That's why visuals is always the priority. And when you're a PC gamer, this is really hard to understand, because your whole life is around having frame rate. And a lot of the times reducing the fidelity to get even better frame rate, lower latency, and everything of the sort. So yeah, sometimes it's very hard to relate things between different kind of players that play, for example, FPS games on PC and players that play just normal movie games, let's just say that, on PlayStation 5. That's pretty much it. That was the video. I hope this video is good. I'm not sure of it myself. Hope you liked it. If you liked it, leave it a like. See you next time. Goodbye.